Hi there, let's have a look at economic development in India. India is a rapidly developing, newly emerging economy in southern Asia. Its growing population is currently at 1.3 billion people. The British colonised India up until 1947. Since then, the country has been run by its own democratically elected government. Its development is moderate. Its HDI is currently 0.61. Inequality is a big issue, with some people being very wealthy, more than 20% of people living in poverty. Education is improving, but the literacy rate is still under 70%. Its main exports are services and manufacturing goods. So, which of the following describes India? Was it a Dutch or a British colony until 1947? Correct answer is a British colony. Is that population 2.1 billion or 1.3 billion? Population is 1.3 billion. Is it an LIC, a lower income country, or an NEE, a newly emerging economy? The correct answer is a newly emerging economy. Is literacy rate under or over 70%? It's under 70%. And is it located in Southern Asia or Southern Africa? It's of course in Southern Asia. Now let's take a look at India's changing industrial structure. Primary industry employs 50% of the workforce, for example, agriculture. As time goes on, primary industry is becoming a smaller component of the economy. Currently, it accounts for only 17% of GDP. That's gross domestic product. Secondary industry, such as manufacturing, has recently grown and now employs 22% of the workforce. It's stimulating economic development because it provides people with more reliable jobs, and exporting manufactured goods is more profitable than exporting raw materials. There's also tertiary and quaternary industry. So tertiary, services, and quaternary, knowledge industries, have recently grown and now employ 29% of the workforce. This growth is largely due to growth in IT firms and in supplying services such as computer science centres to foreign companies. Tertiary and quaternary industries account for 53% of India's GDP. Let's quickly recap. Why does a growing secondary industry stimulate economic development? It's because it provides more reliable jobs, and exporting manufactured goods is more profitable. In industry, which type of industry employs 50% of the workforce? The correct answer is primary industry. Let's have a look at transnational corporations, otherwise known as TNCs, in India. So TNCs are companies that are located in or make and sell products in more than one country. There are many TNCs operating in India, including Unilever, which is a massive food and consumer goods manufacturer. Below are the advantages and disadvantages. So the disadvantages are that not all the profits made in TNCs stay in India. TNCs sometimes cause environmental issues. For example, one Unilever factory disposed of mercury contaminated glass in a waste dump. TNCs can move around the host country to exploit local government incentives. For example, Unilever closed factories in Dharwad and Mumbai as soon as local tax breaks finished. But there are advantages. TNCs provide jobs. For example, Unilever employs 16,000 Indian people. More companies mean more income for India, and TNCs sometimes operate programs that help with development or work with charities to improve the host country's health. So what do we call companies that are located in or make and sell products in more than one country? Are they worldwide institutions, international companies, transnational corporations, or global businesses? Correct answer is transnational corporations. What proportion of people live in poverty in India? Correct answer is over 20%. Which industry employs the greatest percentage of India's workforce? Firstly, primary industry, then tertiary and quaternary industries, and finally secondary industry. That was in order of largest to smallest. What are the advantages of transnational corporations for their host countries? They provide jobs, more companies means more income, sometimes operate programs to help development, sometimes work with charities to improve the host country's health. Inequality is a big issue in India, with some people being very wealthy, but more than 20% of people living in poverty. What are India's main exports? These are services and manufactured goods.